I would like to cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers to good times.
You know, and this is a full circle.
You didn't drink it.
I'm sorry.
You gotta drink it.
Okay,
you gotta drink it. It's tradition. I make everybody drink it. There we go.
There we go.
Welcome to the Healing Project Behind the Scenes YouTube channel.
If you or anyone in your family and friends would like to show your support towards the Healing Project, feel free to order one or more of our t-shirts. Simply email us at allwedoiswinforyou@gmail.com. All proceeds goes towards the funding of the ongoing Healing Project documentary. If you would like to support our team, you can Cash App us at the profile provided in the description below. Any support by you is greatly appreciated by our team. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back everybody to the Healing Project YouTube channel. Now this is of course the behind the scenes channel, and today we're doing something just a little bit different. Sort of a curveball is what I like to call it. We're interviewing a amazing woman by the name of Lorelei, and I've known her for years, and since this is the behind the scenes channel, I'm able to show a lot more other things and a lot more other interviews that are going on simultaneously at the same time that the Healing Project is happening. So in other words, it all started with the Tune In tour. And my friend Rick Glass started that documentary, and I started filming with him on that one and started helping out with that. But some of the people that I've interviewed and some of the people that I've seen and met throughout this, so far this year, some of the stories are extremely interesting. So there's going to be a different playlist actually on that are actually on this YouTube channel that you can go to that speak about other topics as well. Lorelei today is going to touch on plenty of topics. Some of them are about the COVID-19. Some of them are about relationships. Some of them are about business. You know, some of the topics that she touches on is about 9/11. When you're watching this, what I want you to do is just watch it with an open mind. We all have our own opinions about things and facts about things that are going on in this world. So getting other people's viewpoints is a big part of learning to live outside of the Borg itself, because in the Borg, you are only taught one thing, and you're only taught to believe one thing, and you're only shown one thing, one part of life. So this video is going to be something different, but I think you'll enjoy it. It's good, informative information. I will have links for some of her products, Lorelei's products, in the description, so you'll be able to see that. Also, please make sure, if you would like to support us and what we're doing, go to that subscription, look at the GoFundMe link, or look at the Cash App link as well. And so we also have the t-shirt sales going on. There's actually people starting to purchase them, and it's really cool because that's helping get the message out there, and the message is that of healing. It is so good to be in this place right now and to be able to do these things and to move forward with them. Some of the dreams that I've had was to help people around the world and help them with their situations and life situations. And this has become an outlet and a dream come true. So I'm eager to go ahead and end this clip so you can see Lorelei's interview, some of her behind the scenes. It's not the full interview, but you get to see a good meat of it. I look forward to seeing y'all. Peace. So we are here today with a very, very good friend of mine. I call her my sister. Meet Lorelei. Hello. How are you?
I'm good, Gifford.
That's good. You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. What do we have here on the table?
We're drinking a little Chardonnay. Just a little Robert Mondavi.
Can we do a cheers?
We can. I like cheering.
Okay. I like to cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
Yeah. Cheers to good times.
You know,
I like
and this is a full circle.
You didn't drink it.
I'm sorry.
You gotta drink it.
Okay,
You gotta drink it. It's tradition. I make everybody drink it. There you go.
There we go. That's good stuff, actually. Do I need another one?
You can do another one.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah. There we go. So we're just setting a tone for how this whole conversation is going to go. So with the wine, we would like to say cheers to you guys as well. Can we do another one?
We can.
So we can do cheers to the audience as well.
Cheers to the audience.
Right there. That's the camera right there that you're going to look at. I want to look at that camera.
Okay.
There we go. Then we can look at everybody over there. Yeah.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers to everybody that's watching this.
Oh, wait,
good.
cheers to the free thinkers. Oh, wait, cheers, cheers. There
One
we go.
more. We do one more. I think she's trying to get me drunk on this one.
I'm not.
I'm not going to say what's in here right now.
Mine's just sparkling water.
I'm not going to say what I have in here right now. But anyway, so tell me about before we met each other. How long ago was that?
Well, it's probably like 11 years ago. 10, yeah, about 10 and a half, yeah.
What was going on before I met you?
Well, before you met me, well, actually what brought us together is I was in fitness. And I was determined to, I was going to get my pro card. And I wanted to be a fitness model. You know, it wasn't so much like I want to be a model. It was more like I wanted that opportunity for me and my son. I'm a single mom. So, and I wanted to show him that if you persist and if you believe in yourself and you do the grind and you do the work, that things can happen. And things were happening. They were just clicking. Everything was falling into place. And that's how we met, because I was training in a gym. And the gentleman from XP Fit came in and was like, hey, you know, we're looking for a
What was his name?
Pat.
Pat, yeah, that's right. That's
Mr.
right.
Golden.
That's right. Pat,
Yes.
Pat, yep, Mr.
Pat,
Golden.
Mr. Golden. And
Gold member.
Yeah, he was bringing in his energy drink to the gym, blah, blah, blah. And we started talking, and he's like, we're looking for a spokesmodel. This is this whole new energy drink concept. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I thought, oh, this is a godsend. This is, you know, this is what I was working for. So then we have like a meeting of the mind. I meet the owner. Remember the crazy owner? And his crazy wife. God bless them. And so we had like a whole business meeting, and then they just like pitched the whole idea. And it was like, you're going to do workout videos, you're going to like do some talking, you know, we're going to have you do Q&A, and we're going to kick off this big energy drink. And then they were like, well, we need a guy who does the videos.
All right, so you got we had the owners, and then and then from there, what happened?
And then they were like, well, we're gonna do videos, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do videos.
Yes. And then that's when I got the phone call.
And then enters Gifford. Now, when I met you, you didn't have this whole Lenny Kravitz channeling, you know, this whole you know, Jimi Hendrix thing. You were more like, I'm Gifford. Corporate. And you came in, and we shook hands, and we were just like feeding off each other's energy, because we're both like, we're so excited, our dreams, we're gonna do videos. And yeah, it was awesome. We started shooting videos, and I would get up at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yes. It was nonstop.
It was nonstop. And we'd film, we'd work out, and then we were like running all over Charlotte, you know, and asking people.
Rooftops.
Rooftops. I love the rooftop. Such memories. You made a lot of fun of me, though. You made a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was.
Because I love you.
And I love you too, bro. You're like my brother.
Yeah.
You're my spiritual brother here on earth.
Here on earth.
Yeah. So that's really how we met, and everything was going great. It was almost like too perfect. You know, it was just like everything was happening for us. Everything was popping off, and we were like right here. And then the owners are like, yeah, you know, we're going to pull the funding. This isn't working out for us. we were like, it was devastating, really. It was really devastating. And then I had the most unfortunate encounter with a scoundrel of a businessman. Remember the guy who stole my boot camps? See, because what I was doing is I was doing my boot camps because I wanted to kind of implement a franchise for boot camps.
I remember that.
Yes.
I had to jog my memory just now.
That's okay.
I remember that now.
I was one of the only girls in Charlotte teaching boot camps.
That's right.
At the time.
That's
yes.
right. I remember that.
I was.
Yes.
I was kicking ass and taking names.
Erica, you remember that.
Yes, and it was just like, it was growing great. But I just didn't have the business savvy that I needed to navigate through working with, the opposite sex, who wanted something from me. I didn't, I constantly had to shoot that tension down and we're just business partners.
That's right.
And I didn't have the skill set at the time. I was just so excited that I'm running my boot camps. They're finally on Groupon. I'm doing workout videos. Everything is happening perfect. But I still didn't have the business sense that you need when you take on that big responsibility.
That's right. Yes.
And so I had to learn a very humbling experience when, the owner of the gym was like, well, if you don't do this with me, I'm going to take your business. And I was like, what are you talking about? I knew what he was talking about, but I was like, you can't do that. He's like, I can. This is my gym. And I'll just take over, and I'll ban you from the gym if you don't.
That was the gyms that we were filming in.
That's how I met Patrick Golden. Was at
okay,
that
there
gym.
we go. Okay,
yes,
Patrick
that
Golden.
was
That's
at.
right.
That was at the.
Hey,
Rock.
Patrick.
Hey, Patrick. Now he's the good guy. He's the good guy and all.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good.
I love
guy.
you, Patrick.
Yeah, we love you.
And your family.
Yes, but the guy we met, the Rock and all of that, bad guys. So. When I said no, I was barred from my own gym, and I lost everything. And when I say everything, I mean all my boot campers, my business, my connection with Groupon, because, he went and badmouthed me, just all this trashing. And I had just gone to the North American, which is one of the biggest bodybuilding shows for fitness and bodybuilding. I went to the GNC North American. I went on a sponsorship. I took ninth, right, in my class, in the open class, out of, 100 women, and I was one of the oldest back at that time. I was like 39, something like that, 39 going on 40. And so it was just, it was such a victory for me, but back home, I had just lost my boot camp, I just lost my sponsorships, and it was like, it was all coming to an end because the people that, I was doing business with. And you learn a lot about business. You learn a lot about people, and you learn a lot about their integrity. And I learned it all the hard way. Because when I think of fitness, I think of getting in shape, motivating people to change their life for something healthy, something better. But there's a whole other side to fitness it's ugly. And a lot of people don't know about it.
Do you think that, I don't want to go too far off subject, but do you think that being fit, working out, does that make people happier?
I think it does. It gives them, first of all, you have a lot of energy. And energy creates enthusiasm. And you have the energy to go and do the things that you want to do. You know what I mean? And so let's say you're a 300-pound guy and your kids want to play outside with you. Well, you can't play outside with your kids who are 300 pounds. But you take that same guy and you put him in the gym and you shred him down. Now dad can go outside and play football. Now dad can go outside and ride bikes, blah, blah, blah. So being fit is one of the healthiest things that you can do for your body. And you just have to make sure that your ego, because when you're walking around with a 12-pack and you're shredded, you're like, that your ego doesn't become bigger than you.
Yeah.
So you have to stay humble. So I think I ate a lot of humble pie because I realized I wasn't ready for my business to be that big. And there are other boot camps now that do what I used to do, and so it's. Cheers to that. Good for them. But, I had the idea. I had a great idea, and it wasn't an original idea. It was just something I was going to expand on, you know what I mean, and create boot camps and things like that. But I learned a lot about myself. And so if I ever did something like that again or do a business venture again, because I'm excited by that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I love filming. Like, I love doing all this kind of things. It just has to be with people who have integrity and they have character, and there's, the project is more important than their ego. The project is more important than, stuff. So it's, you really learn a lot.
Yeah.
And so that is how we started filming and connecting, and then we just stayed because we were like, oh my God, we're like kindred souls.
Yes.
And we can talk about things.
Everything.
We can
Anything.
talk, right. I believe in God, and I believe that God planted you in my life, and I do believe that God plants people in our lives, good and bad.
And you in my life.
Right.
You helped me so much.
Thank you.
Y'all don't know about that stuff yet.
Yeah, those were the times. So, and sometimes you have to pray that God will, and if you're stubborn and you hold on to people that you shouldn't, bad things will keep happening with those people in your life. And then when you're willing to let those people go and trust that God will replace them with something that's better for you and something that's good for that person, because both friendships have to benefit from each other. You have to both grow spiritually.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so you go through a phase where you're out there all by yourself, and sometimes that's good. That's where you heal. You have to be by yourself. You have to learn what do I need to change about myself. What do I need to work on? We're all a project, right? I'm always working on.
Always. I see you, girl.
I'm working.
I see you, girl.
I see you.
The little bit of time that I spend on social media, there's Lorelai doing her thing. Yeah.
It gets me banned from time to
Yeah,
time.
it's a.
So much for that freedom of speech, as long as I'm regurgitating the mantra of what they want, and I'm just posting rainbows and unicorns, and I can have free speech. But if I really drop truth bombs or red pill anybody, whoa, man, Facebook police are all over my posts. And I didn't used to be that way. I think what happened is when I went into the fitness world and I seen that there's an ugly side that most people, the fitness models and guys, girls, they don't really like to talk about it. They try to pretend like it's not there. It's kind of like the Miss Beauty pageants. Okay, come on. It's kind of like, it's like that. So there is a dark underbelly to all that. And when you're like all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and you don't know that, and you're running into all of these things that go against your morals, and then you have to start making choices and decisions. Like I made a conscious choice to tell the owner of the gym, screw you, I'm not going to screw you, right? You can take this, you can take it and you can shove it where the sun doesn't shine. I lost everything. Cheers to that. But I sleep with a clear conscience, right? Like, I can go to sleep. I didn't sleep with that man to keep my business. Lots of women would. It's kind of like the Me Too movement. All these actresses came out, he made me do this and he made me do that in the hotel room. Girl, your first thing should have been, we don't go to hotel rooms for interviews, okay? I'm sorry. This is real talk, right?
This is. Keep going.
This is real talk. So, when the Me Too movement started and all these actresses, and don't think I don't feel bad. I get it. They were in a position where the cheese was dangled. There's free cheese in a mousetrap. Hey, there is free cheese in the mousetrap, girls. I'm the smart little mouse. I'm still alive.
Yes.
I'm like, I'd get my own cheese. Okay. Oh, that's a trap.
Yes.
And so
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
And so, you have to be willing to let things go. I worked very hard as a woman to get my boot camp business going, get it growing, get it on Groupon, working with men in the industry, constantly making sacrifices, getting up at 4 in the morning, doing the fasted cardio, putting meal plans together, being available for all my friends and my clients and everybody, and just putting myself out there to be judged. And then one person can come along and ruin it with an inappropriate, offer for me to keep my own business. And so it wasn't that important. My integrity is important. So when I watched the whole Me Too movement, and I was like, come on, you had a choice. Granted, you might not be, an actress, But then you also wouldn't have had to sleep with what's his face, big fat Harry Weinstein guy, right? So I don't want to hear you cry because nobody made you.
Our cameramen right now and camera women are trying not to laugh. Right now,
I'm sorry, ladies. Let's keep it real. It's real. This is real convo.
If y'all bust out and laugh, we'll give you a pass right now. Okay, we'll give you a pass.
It's like. Well, you went to a hotel room with a guy that had a reputation for making women sleep with him or do, inappropriate gestures and hitting on them and gosh knows what else he did, right?
Upgrade.
Yes. So you have the choice to say, you know what, I don't want that role. And you know what I mean? And you may never get to be the actress, but then you wouldn't have had to do all the other bad things that you do where you come out crying. And then, because what you're teaching little girls is that it's okay to sleep your way to the top, but then you got to cry about it when you get there. And then we were all supposed to feel bad for them. I feel bad that they allowed themselves to be used like that. I feel bad, no woman should. And it's not right that a man has that power to say, listen, girl, you want that role or you want to keep your business, you have to do this to do it. But that's where we have to have checkpoints in place. So if you're doing that, you can be reported. There has to be these open channels of communication. That's but right. At the end of the day, you went to that hotel room.
That's right.
You did what he asked you to do, and then you cry about it a whole bunch of years later, and you make a movement about it. It's a fake movement.
Do you feel like a lot of people in our society these days, do you think that they are forgetting, or do you think that there's a lack of accountability?
I definitely think there's a lack of accountability.
Okay.
Across the board. I think there's a lack of accountability. I think people like to be like the victim. There's a disease, I don't know what it's called, but it's like it's the mother who makes her child sick on purpose so that everyone can rally around the mother. There's a disease. It's not the Stockholm Syndrome, which is what most of America has. It's actually even more disturbing than that. It's the mother who makes their child intentionally sick so that people can rally around the mother and be like, oh, you're such a good mother, you're always there for your kid, blah, blah, blah. And they're making their child sick intentionally. They're
wow.
And that's a sickness.
I had no idea about that.
And when you look at all the sicknesses in the world, which we have a lot of, you know what I mean? It's easy to get caught up. You know what I mean? It would have been easy for me to just say, sure, I'll sleep with you. I'll be your girlfriend on the side and keep my business. But I like to sleep with a clear conscience. I sleep like a baby.
I like that.
Because I got to look at myself in the mirror.
That's right.
And I want to know that I earned that. I want to know that I worked for that. I want to know that I didn't have to do anything that I have to be ashamed of or hide from my son. I'm a mom. I want my son to be proud of me. Like, that's my mom. She's been through a lot, but she stuck to her morals. And we have a line. Like, I have a line you draw in the sand, and then I don't cross that line. Because then once you cross that line, the line keeps getting pushed further and further and further back.
Yes,
and then and then you have no boundaries.
Point of no return.
Right. You never want to get there. So that's what I found when I went into the fitness model world. I do
Hi.
that. Hi.
My name's Gifford Cordova. Hi, Lorelai.
Hi, I'm a model.
This is exciting.
Oh gosh. So yeah.
So, all right. So, then there's that transition stage that happened. I mean, if I can remember around the time when things were starting to crumble.
Mm-hmm.
Very mathematical. Housing bubble happened.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So then started studying a little bit of economics. Do you think that our waking up happened around the same time?
Well, you mean if we were red-pilled? Well, here's what I think. I personally think that I was always awake, but just not sure of what I knew. Like I knew something, like the jig is up. Okay.
We knew. They thought we were crazy. And now you're looking for answers,
yeah.
but anyway, keep watching the videos.
Yeah, so I was like, I've always been somebody who questions things. Like, I think my aha moment, and I think a lot of people's aha moment, was 9/11. I think a lot of people were like, what you talking about, Willis? Like, you know, like, come again? Like, what? Like, this just doesn't add up. So it's like that, I think, for a lot of people. I think we unfortunately, and, you know, God bless the souls that we lost that day, and then the souls that we lost after, you know. But I think 9/11 woke a lot of people up, because a lot of things that day that happened in the few days after, none of it made any sense to people who were thinking. None of it made sense to the victims' families. You know, I remember when I was watching it, I remember where I was. You know, do you remember where you were on 9/11?
Yes, exactly.
What were you doing on 9/11?
I was sleeping in.
Okay, I was
My
getting
day
ready
off.
for work.
It was my day off.
And I watched the planes crash.
I woke up and saw it.
And I remember watching the news broadcaster.
So I slept with the TV on.
Okay. She says a plane crashes in Shanksville. I think it was Flight 93. I think it was like 40, 50 souls on board. And I'm thinking, oh my God, another plane crash, you know? And so I remember watching them, you know, everyone, all the FBI agents and you know, everyone rushes down to Shanksville to see the plane, but there was no plane. Where was Flight 93?
That's right.
It was just a crater. And scientifically, that can't happen. And I want everyone to think about it like this. Imagine if you called 911 and they said, what's your emergency? And you said, yes, 2 semi-trucks just crashed in front of my house. And the police...
They're on fire, blowing
Right,
up.
right.
2 tanker trucks.
2 tanker trucks. But then when you get to the scene of the crime, there's no 2 tanker trucks.
This doesn't exist.
How does that happen?
Just asphalt.
It doesn't. But you had the FBI there, and they were all like, I don't know what happened. Nobody knew what happened. But the story we were told that it blew up. But what about the bodies? What about the parts and the pieces?
What was found there?
Yeah, oh yes, that was my favorite part of the story. Was a passport and one of the flight attendants' a boarding pass.
Wait, what is that made of?
A paper. It was, to me, it was like, I was like, this isn't
Logical.
making... Right. And it was bothering me. It was bothering me for days. And I didn't have, like, the truth movement people to, like, hey, I didn't have anyone to, you know, I didn't meet you yet. So...
No social media.
No social media. So it was like, planes when they crash, they leave body parts. They leave a trace. They leave giant pieces.
Charred remains.
Right, charred remains. They leave body parts. They leave the luggage of the poor deceased people. On that day, there was nothing. There was a passport of the terrorist and a boarding pass, I think, of the flight attendant, and they're both made out of paper. And I think the black box was discovered, but of course it was, you know, it didn't really survive the crash, but it was conveniently found there. Now, I'm not saying those poor people didn't perish. I'm saying what made a passenger jet just disintegrate, right? Because basically that's what we're being told. We're being told that Flight 93 just disintegrated and left absolutely nothing. Disintegrated the bodies, and everything on board was just, it just disintegrated. So what would make something disintegrate? Or we have to say it didn't really crash there. We have to think like scientifically. And I think that's what happened is scientists were coming out like, you know, we had scientists, some we're like, this is mathematically impossible. Stuff just doesn't
Add up.
Right, add up. And then I think that is what started this big truth movement of people, you know, coming out and saying, yeah, you know, and then Building 7, right? Building 7 was my other aha moment. I just couldn't understand how Building 7 fell when a plane didn't crash and hit into it. And the newscaster, I remember I was watching it, and she said, Building 7 has fallen. And I'm like, oh my God, I missed that part. Like, how did I miss Building 7 falling? Because I was watching it in real time. It hadn't fallen yet. And there was just all these little things that would trigger my mind. But I didn't know that I was watching, you know, what was a something that was orchestrated, right, for my viewing pleasure. 9/11 happened. We lost a lot of souls that day. We lost a lot of rights that day. We went to war because of that day. But the narrative that they're telling us is a big fat lie. And so it was people like myself, people like you, when we started talking, when we eventually would meet later in life, that we could say, yeah, I had this problem with that story, right? And I had this problem with that story. And so it's those things that I think that start to trigger your thinking, and you realize how indoctrinated people are. Because if you try to talk to somebody, right, you try to talk to somebody about 9/11, they get very offended, unless unless they're an open thinker.
That's right.
Unless they're open to logic and real science. Because on TV, anything can happen. But in real life, if two semi-trucks crash in front of my house, or a plane, if a passenger jet was to crash, it would still be there. Forensic evidence.
I watch Forensic Files.
I love forensic
Trace
files,
hair.
right?
You'll find something.
You'll find something. Nothing was found that day but a passport and a boarding pass.
Paper.
Okay. So
I see your logic.
right, so you start to think about these things, and then you realize that the indoctrination and the cult mindset is it's prevalent in our society today.
Speaking of cults,
Yes.
one of my other documentaries we're working on right now, my staff and I, my team, we're working really hard on it. But we're actually diving into cults as well. And that's one of the things we're going to come back often with Lorelai. You might as well go ahead and get used to seeing her face, because she's going to be in all of my series because she has so much information in there. Lorelai, on this one, I want to skip forward a little bit.
Okay.
What's your experience like, or what has your experience been like with the COVID-19? So take us back to when you first started hearing about it.
Golly gee whiz. Well, when I first heard about it, because I don't watch TV, right? I have YouTube or something like that. And I was probably watching a documentary. And you can't watch YouTube anymore without all of the trailers and all the commercials and stuff. And then so I saw
algorithms.
the algorithms. So I see a rebroadcasting of the news, and it says something about it. There's this thing going around, and me and my husband Josh were like, "This is some BS." I just knew it. I don't know why I knew it or how I knew it. I just knew. Like sometimes you just know something, right? But we went along with the charades. We never did the masks, right? Because I didn't have it, so I didn't worry about giving it to somebody else. And I have an innate immune system, and I understand how my immune system works. And I'm very healthy, so I really wasn't afraid. Oh my God, it's not the blue, the Black Plague, right? So I was just like, a little skeptical, but we still thought it was pretty much just not anything to have this fear mongering going on. We went to vacation. We still did our vacation. We went to Myrtle Beach.
Hey.
We went for a 4-day weekend, and we had to do curbside for everything. We couldn't, because everything was closed, right? And everyone was masks. And I'm like, mask free. I'm like, I'm not masking. I'm like, mind control. And I need good oxygen anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, and I didn't have anything, so couldn't give you something I don't have. And so, and then we were told, I was told I was a non-essential, right? Because I was just a training merch manager for a store that buys everything from China. Thank you.
Yes.
And so, I was told when I went back to work, I was off for like a month. I did enjoy that. Of course, I wasn't getting any money from the government, But I was like, well, I'm going to sit this one out. And my husband was essential, so he was still working all the time. And so I'm not going to lie, it was nice for like a month, because I've been working my whole life, right? I'm 51. I've been working my whole life. So I was like, this is nice. This is a nice little break. Except I didn't have any money coming in, right? So, but I have a husband who takes good care of me. So, so that was nice. But then I realized it was getting out of control. It wasn't like we're just going to stay home and blah, blah, blah. I went back to work, and they told me, no mask, no job. I'm like, what? I can't wear a mask. I'm like, I don't have anything. Like, we don't care. This is the rules. No mask, no job. So I tried it. I tried the little stupid mask, and it stressed me out and caused me to hyperventilate.
What is it? Bang? Bunch of bangs walking around?
It was, and it was, this is what I couldn't get over. Everyone was acting like it was this pandemic, right? And everyone was so fearful. If you're so afraid, Karen, okay, stay home, because the shit we saw from China you don't really need it, Karen. If I really thought there was a Black Plague out there, or the Spanish flu, which isn't really Spanish, but okay, we'll go with that. I'm not going to be out shopping buying cheap crap from China, right? Especially if I think it's from China. It's a China virus. So I'm like, I'm not going to be out buying stuff, right? But all these ladies were like standing in line so they could buy their stuff, but we got to sanitize everything and everybody's got to wear their mask. And they were all like, keep your mask over your nose. I'm like, no, you keep your mask over your nose. Don't worry about me, girl. I'm good. I don't have anything. You might have it. You could be asymptomatic. Like, where did you hear that garbage? You know, Anthony Fauci told you. You could be asymptomatic. You could be sick and not know it. That's actually one of the symptoms, is not having any symptoms.
I have a question.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh at that.
Go on.
I gotta let that out. Like, that's
We'll
cheers.
cheers to that.
And part of the sickness was you have no symptoms. Let that marinate. Okay, like a good marinade for your steak, right? One of the symptoms is you have no symptoms. Just think about that.
Give me a sec.
Yes, it's a good one. That is some mind control right there. You're sick, but your body doesn't know it's sick. That's a symptom. Yeah. I know. You asked me, so I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I know. So I was like, I don't have anything. So then I went and started looking at virologists and microbiologists who don't work for the World Health and don't work for Anthony Fauci and don't work for the CDC. And they had a whole different take and a whole different narrative than the one that we heard for an entire year and 8 months now. Like, it was a long time now, right? You know what I mean? And they had a whole different outlook on it. And so I went with the outlook that made more sense to me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I know if I'm sick, my body's going to let me know I'm sick. It may not happen in the first couple of days, but if I'm really sick with something and I'm contagious with something, my body is going to be fighting it. It's going to be creating antibodies to fight it, right? My macrophages, they're going to go in there, they're going to be battling it. And so it's going to send off some senses to my body, like, you have a fever, you're throwing up, you have body aches, you have chills, you have a headache, you have diarrhea, you can't get out of bed. These are signs that your body is sick. These are symptoms. There's other symptoms, but if you have no symptoms, then you have nothing. It's called viral load. So I went to learn about this because none of this madness made any sense to me. And so I found in all the fear mongering and the fear porn, I found people who were talking real science.
One thing that I don't understand is that, and maybe you can educate me more on this, is that people wear their mask, correct?
Yes, everywhere.
This is one thing that I'm trying to understand.
Right.
So you have people wearing their mask. Now, according to the FDA,
Right.
okay, those masks are supposed to protect you from the corona, correct? Like, let's just say,
Right.
according to we're the FDA right now.
Well, yeah. Well, the CDC said that.
CDC.
Right.
That's
the
what I was.
Right.
CDC.
The
There we go.
CDC said that they don't actually protect you. That's why we all had to wear it. It never made any sense. My mask didn't really protect me, but it protected you. And if you wore the mask, then your mask protected me. And so I was just offended that my job told me no mask, no job, because I have self-autonomy and I didn't have anything to give anybody. In order to, to pass something on, you have to have something. And so it just kept, like, the story kept changing all the time. It lived on surfaces for 14 days, 20 days. It was airborne. It was by touch. It was by this. The story kept changing all the time. And so it never made any sense. And I believe in self-autonomy. I believe in self-governing. If I want to do something to my body, it's my body. And so I didn't want to wear the mask. I didn't have COVID. I didn't have any symptoms. I was healthy. I was being made to be unhealthy by wearing the mask. I ended up having to go to the emergency room, as a matter of fact. I saw everybody wearing their masks inappropriately, right? Because, masks only work if everyone wears them correctly. And they're really not to stop a transmission of any influenza-like type of infection. Doctors wear a mask, right, when they're in a surgery, for example. The room is sterile, the environment's sterile. It's for a certain amount of time. When they leave the operating room, they throw the mask away. So everyone was being told that they could just wear whatever kind of mask, just mask up. And to me, I felt like it was a symbol of something more. And and nobody around me was sick, right? Nobody I knew was sick. Nobody in my neighborhood was sick. I wasn't seeing this pandemic that they were advertising it to be. You know what I mean? It was just this fear mantra. It's this constant fear propaganda of constantly telling us, that we're all going to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we didn't wear the mask. And so it just, none of it ever made any sense. And so that's why I went to alternative sources to listen to world-renowned scientists. I started listening to a Thai German, actually. He's Thai and German. And I know I'm going to kill his name, but it's Sukrat Bhatti. He's amazing. He wrote a book, he wrote a bestseller during the pandemic, and he had a different take, and he had a different narrative about masks. And then I started finding other scientists and other doctors who also had other scientific information that masks do not stop the transmission of any influenza-like type of infection. So it just became so politicized, and it was more, to me it was like a symbol, like just shut your mouth and do what we tell you. And that's how I saw it. I didn't think it was, I'm going to save somebody's life, or somebody's wearing the mask and going to save my life. Because if I don't have COVID and you don't have COVID, we don't need to wear a mask. And never in the history of infectious diseases did we quarantine healthy people, did we mask the healthy people, right? And if there was really such a pandemic that everybody's going to die, right, like it protected millions of people, then we should be seeing it everywhere we go. It should be affecting all of our loved ones. It should be affecting children. It should be infecting our co-workers. And every day I went to work, right, trying to wear this mask under my nose, and people yelling at me because it's not over my face and I'm not wearing it properly. But yet, it's like, if you're that afraid, then just stay home. And so it just came to a point where I was just like, this is my body, my choice, right? And I say no, I'm not playing the game. I don't have anything, I'm not infectious, I don't have anything to give you, so I'm not going to mask up. And so I don't know. And here we are. And here we are. Now we have a death jab. But that's for a whole nother episode, isn't it?
I was just about to say that.
That's for another episode, kids.
So yes, because I know that you have a ton of knowledge on this subject, and and I feel like there's a room for us to communicate about it without judging each other,
right?
And be able to have an open mind about these things, because if we don't have an open mind, then I feel like that lack of wisdom and knowledge that is needed could be someone's downfall.
Mm-hmm. Well, think about it like this. If we never question the scientists and doctors, remember way back in the day, we weren't alive, but they used to tell that pregnant women could smoke, right? It was in the early 50s. They used to spray kids with asbestos. Doctors, pregnant women could smoke. So if we never question, well, should we all be smoking? Is it going to cause cancer? Is asbestos really a good thing to spray on kids, right? Is it okay? Is asbestos safe to put in our paint and our walls? Like if we didn't question, right, what we were being told, then pregnant women would still smoke cigarettes. There'd still be asbestos, right? And so these things we have to always question the people that are in charge, because people that are in charge, they're not just in charge of their life, they're in charge of a lot of people's lives. And so I was just, under the mindset that I felt like I was being manipulated and lied to. And then when I was seeing things that didn't add up, and, and I was being told that I could have something and not know it, and I could kill poor grandma. And I'm like, but I'm not sick. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm sick and play the game. So I sat this game out. And I think if more people have to have these conversations, because, you still see people, we're a year in, a year and seven, right. And people are still wearing their masks. Why are you still wearing your mask? And then it's like, they just been conditioned. And people can be conditioned and they can be worn down. And the way you wear them down and condition them is with fear. And when you use fear, you can mind control anybody. And that's what, if you look through history, you'll see that fear is one of the number one things to get a society to do what you want it to do, to get people to be conditioned to think the way you want them to think, because they could have never made everybody wear the mask if they first didn't scare them to death.
Yeah.
So they scared everybody.
Fear sells.
Fear sells. It makes for movies. It makes for good mainstream media news if you watch that sort of thing, and you can manipulate a large population if you constantly say the same thing over and over, and you constantly use fear, because fear drives people, and it makes people make the wrong choice, and they make their choices out of fear. When it's like this. Imagine you're in your house and someone breaks into your house. You either go into fight or flight.
Yes.
So fight or flight is a very important mechanism that we have in our body. Most people through this pandemic went through flight. I went into fight.
Powerful.
I'm a fighter.
That's strong. That's strength.
Because I really...
People need to hear this.
Right. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to be like, I'm not sick. I don't have any symptoms. None of my family. Right. That's the fight. When you fight against the narrative. I still have family members, who I won't say, that everywhere he goes, he still wears a mask. And I'm like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
You're just going along with it. And so now he's so conditioned to just, everywhere he goes, he's got to wear his mask. And even though he doesn't have anything, even though we're a year and 8 months in or whatever it is, he still has been conditioned because of the fear.
Have you seen the movie Freebird?
Freebird? No.
Is it Freebird?
Is it Freebird?
Is it Freebird?
Is it Freebird? I don't know.
The one with the Thanksgiving turkey.
It's Freebird.
Freebird.
You're talking about the turkey who had to go to the government's bunker and time travel?
Yes.
That is Freebird.
That's Freebird. I was right.
I
It's
haven't seen
Freebird. Thank
Freebird.
you. Freebird.
I haven't seen Freebird.
In Freebird, there's a bunch of turkeys on the farm. One bird was saying, something ain't right.
Right. It's like the chicken in the coop.
Chicken in the coop.
I think they're eating us. And the other chickens are like, no, you're just a conspiracy theorist. And the chicken's like, no.
No, I'm going to heaven. I'm going to heaven. They picked me. They picked me.
Right.
And there you are on the
there's-
dinner table.
Right, and there's the little advertisement for Tyson Chicken.
Freebird.
Freebird. I get it.
Cheers to being free.
Right. On that turkey then, right? I'm like, on that chicken. Hey, here we go.
Something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Don't go that way.
Don't go that way. Stop eating all that food. They're fattening you up for something. It's like the cheese in the mousetrap. There's free cheese. There you go. There's free cheese in the mousetrap. So I see it as a trap. I don't want the cheese. I like cheese. I'm a little mouse. But I realize that the cheese is in there for a reason. Most mice, free cheese. Oh, boom. Traps them.
There's a lot of that going around with the government.
Right.
Handouts.
The
That'll be another
handouts,
discussion as well.
That'll be another discussion. The handouts.
So let's take a pause now, because of course we're going to dive in more. This was an introductory, and I truly enjoyed it.
I did too.
What's the significance of your outfit there?
Well, if you must know,
Yeah, I need to know.
I like to live in casual athleisure attire. I do.
I can relate.
I do, and I and I on the side I have a little hustle. You always got to have a hustle. It's very important to have a hustle. So I have a hustle. I sell ladies' leggings and sports bras.
I've seen you doing
That's
your
right.
work.
I do. When I'm not banned on
we're
Facebook.
gonna have all the links for you so that everybody can see your hard work.
That's my side hustle, but
Yeah.
I just like to be a casual person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just-
It relates. It definitely
Yes.
relates to your personality.
Thank you. And what's with your attire, Mr.
My
Karate
attire
Kid?
is that I haven't been to the Dominican Republic yet, so
you're-
I'm going to the Dominican Republic.
That's
so
amazing.
This is from the DR.
Okay.
It was given to me by my cousin BJ, and I'm going to the DR very soon. Our last stop on the tune-in tour is going to be on the East Coast, because right now we're taking care of the East Coast. Then we go to the Southwest, or I don't know where we're going.
Right.
After the East Coast, I don't know what those plans are, but last stop is my native Cuba, Havana, Cuba.
Oh gosh,
So we're
what are
taking
you
a-
doing there?
We're taking it within the next 2 months. We're going to be on the yacht from Miami.
I want to go to
Straight
Cuba.
up.
I want to
You're welcome to
I wanna
come.
go. I wanna
So I will give you a heads up. We're
Okay.
going to be on a major, huge yacht.
I love
And
yachts.
the sculpture with the Tune-In Project is going to be on that yacht as well, going to Cuba with us.
Cuba.
So Lorelai
Cuba,
and
people.
Josh, you are invited to
Oh,
come with
thank
us.
you.
It's going to be great. We're gonna have them on our tour bus. I don't know which state we're gonna do,
I
but
don't know either.
they're gonna come on our tour bus.
I always like surprises, though.
Surprises are great.
Surprises are good. I like a good surprise.
When you love to have a surprise every day?
Well, this was a surprise.
You know what?
You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I knew you were doing
Waking
this.
up is a surprise for me.
Well, you know.
It's surprise.
Surprise. But, you know, this, I mean, I knew you were doing your whole project and everything, but, you know, I've always just been a big cheerleader. So, and you're like, hey, we're going to interview you. I was like, yeah, all right, if you insist.
All that knowledge.
You know,
Yes.
you got to plant the seeds.
That's right.
You got to plant the seeds. Some will grow, like see, like right here. Well, this one's fake.
Tell
These
us
yes.
a little bit about this.
So this is real. So you
Yeah.
gotta. It's like, okay. So truth is like plants. You'll plant some, right? Take your little seeds and you plant them, and some will grow. This is my basil, and this is my rosemary. This is fake. Don't look at this. Okay.
This is beauty.
Like,
this is added.
right. That's added.
Yeah.
But that's how truth is. So you plant some truth seeds, and some will bud, and some will blossom and grow, and some will fall on bad soil. And it's just the way that it is. Everybody isn't going to be able to be woken up to the truth. Everybody isn't going to be able to be woken up out of their slumber. All you can do is give them the truth, give them the knowledge, plant the seed, right? And then maybe you plant the seed and someone comes along and waters it, right? So I can either be the seed planter or the water bearer. I don't mind, vice versa. But that's how it works in our truth community. Some people plant the seeds, some people come along and water. The more you water, the more you plant, the more seeds will grow, and more of the truth will start to stick, and more people will realize just how far, just how deep the deception goes, and just how indoctrinated so many people are. I always tell people, watch The Matrix.
Oh,
Watch
I love
The
the Matrix.
Matrix.
Actually, our cameraman Hauser here. That's his nickname.
Hi, Hauser.
He's finally watched part 1 and 3. I couldn't
Oh,
find
good.
part 2. It's somewhere in the wrong case out of all the collection that I have, so we can't find it right now. But
You gotta watch The Matrix because it gives you the choice. Do you want to know the truth, or do you want to go back to the reality that you knew? And so think of it, a lot of people don't want the reality of the truth because I think either A, it overwhelms them and they don't know what to do with it, right? Because it can be scary. Or they're just in a place in life that they don't want to be bothered. It's just too much for them. So either way, it's like sticking their head in the sand. But then there's people like myself, right? And people like yourself, and our friends and other people that we know that we've connected with. So I was saying is everybody should watch The Matrix. Because The Matrix shows you how big and deep the rabbit hole is, and he's given a chance to either go back to what he knew, which was nothing, or he can be red pilled, right? And he can have the knowledge. And some people want the knowledge. Some people seek after the knowledge. And some people, I don't want to sound cheesy, but isn't there a line from a movie, you can't handle the truth?
Yeah, there you go. With Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. You want the truth?
Yes.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's how truth is. It's like if you had a friend and he or her husband, wife was cheating on them. Do you go and tell your friend, hey, I saw your husband, wife, significant other cheating on you? Do you go and tell the friend and then maybe ruin the relationship and they don't want to believe you? Or do you say, you know what, it's the right thing to do. I need to go and tell my friend that the significant other was cheating. And you go and tell your friend, and they just don't want to accept it because it's a hard, cold reality. And they're just not in a place where they want to accept it, right? They can't accept it. And then you tell them the truth, and then they even find evidence of the truth, but they still decide to turn and look the other way.
Yeah.
Because they don't, the truth for some people is not an accept. You have to be willing to accept truth. And truth means that you have to take action.
And then that truth goes right back to what we were talking about earlier, accountability.
Accountability. Because when you know the truth, you have to take action. and everybody isn't ready to take action.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm ready to take action.
I'm ready to take action.
Right.
I'm right there with
All
you.
right, cheers.
Cheers to that.
Cheers
Cheers
to
to taking action.
Cheers to taking
and
action.
cheers.
Cheers.
See, you got me drinking
Sorry.
too much.
Sorry.
But cheers to accountability.
Accountability.
And I want to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much, Lorelai.
Well, thanks for coming to my house.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I
did
enjoyed
too.
it. Now it's party time.
Now it's
Work
party
is
time.
done.
Right,
Work is done.
We're gonna grill out.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And have more cheers.
That's right, man. More cheers.
All right. Oh, it's
Thank
good
you.
talking to you.
Thank you so much.
No, you're so welcome.
We'll
Thank
see you next time.
I'll see you next time.
Until next time.
Until next time, kids.
All right. Cheers.